Hi first graders! We are going to be jumping into Chapter 1, Lesson 5 today. This is what you're going to need. You'll need your pencil, your GoMath book, and you will also need your counters. Once you have these items, then we can get started.
So this is our I can statement. For today it says, I can use the additive identity property. Let's turn to page 29 in our math books. At the top of page 29, the directions say, listen and draw. Use counters to model the problem. Draw the counters you use. Listen to the following problem. Scott has 4 marbles. Jennifer has no marbles. How many marbles do they have? Let's start with this. What do we need to find? We need to find the number of marbles. What information do we already know? We already know that Scott has 4 marbles. And we also know that Jennifer has no marbles. Our first step to solve the problem will be to use our counters. Find your red counters. Since Scott has 4 marbles, we are going to show 1, 2, 3, 4 counters on the left side of our page. Now, do we need to show any marbles for Jennifer? You're probably saying, no, we don't need to show any marbles for Jennifer because she has no marbles. No marbles means 0. That means she has nothing. So let's go ahead and draw our 4 counters on our paper. Take your pencil and draw the 4 counters on the left side of your page. 4 counters stands for the 4 marbles that Scott has. How do we show no marbles for Jennifer? Well, since we didn't use any counters because Jennifer has no marbles, then we will leave this side blank. How do we find the total if one part is 0? Well, let's count the counters that we do have. 1, 2, 3, 4. We found the total, which is 4. Now, let's look back at the question. The question says, how many marbles do they have? Our answer that we found is Scott and Jennifer have 4 marbles. We're going to talk a little bit more about our special number called 0. 0 is spelled like this. Z-E-R-O. The number 0 looks like this. The number 0 is a little bit like a ghost. It's there, but it doesn't really change anything when we are adding with 0. Let's see how that works. If we're adding 5 plus 0, it still equals 5. 5 plus 0 equals 5. When we add 0 to a number, that number stays the same. We call this the additive identity property. Say that with me. Additive identity property. That means when we add any number and 0, it is still going to stay the same number. Let's move on to page 30. Page 30 looks like this. At the top, there's a purple box that says Model and Draw. The question says, what happens when 0 is added to a number? Let's take our pencil and explore this first problem. In our picture, we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots on one side. On the other side of our picture, we see no dots. The first part says there are 5 dots. We counted 5 dots on this part of our picture. In the next part of our picture, we see no dots. That means we see 0 dots. 5 plus 0 equals 5. What happens when 0 is added to a number? Well, we see here that when we add 0 to a number, the sum is still that number. 0 does not change the number. Let's take a look at a new picture. In our new picture, there is one part that has no dots. That part means there are 0 dots. On the other part of our picture, we see 1, 2, 3 dots. That means we will write 3. 0 plus 3 equals 3. What happens when a number is added to 0? Well, we just saw that the sum is still that number. 0 plus 3 equals 3. 0 does not change the sum. Now, does it matter if the first number or the second number is 0? No. It is still going to give us the same answer even if the first number is 0 or even if the second number is 0. Now we can take a look at the bottom half of our page. It says, share and show. For number 1, we will do this one together. Number 2, we will also do this one together. Number 3 and 4, you'll do on your own, and then we will check in once you're finished. Let's look at number 1. The directions say, use the picture to write each part. Write the sum. So let's look at our picture. The first part of our picture shows 1 dot. That means we are going to write in our addition sentence 1. 1 stands for 1 dot. Let's look at our next part. How many dots are in this part? I don't see any dots in this part. Since we have nothing here, that means there are 0 dots. So write 0 on the line in your addition sentence. Our addition sentence now says 1 plus 0 equals blank. Well, we know that if we add 0 to any number, the sum is that number. That means 1 plus 0 is still 1. If we want to check our answer, we can count the dots in our picture. Let's count the dots in our picture to see if the sum is correct. 1. We only have 1 dot, which means the sum is correct. We just checked. Awesome. Let's look at number 2. In the first part of our picture, how many dots do you see? I see no dots in the first part of our picture. If we see no dots, that means there are 0 dots. So let's write 0 on the line of our addition sentence. Now let's look at the next part of our picture. The next part of our picture has, let's count, 1, 2 dots. Since there are 2 dots in this part of our picture, we're going to write the number 2 on the line of our addition sentence. Now our addition sentence says 0 plus 2 equals, well, remember that any number added to 0 is still that number. That means our sum will still be this number, which is 2. Our sum is 2. Our addition sentence says 0 plus 2 equals 2. Again, if we want to count and make sure that that sum is correct, we can count our dots. 1, 2. We do have a sum of 2 dots. That means this is correct. Now I want you to try number 3 and number 4 on your own. Now that you've finished number 3 and 4, let's go over it. Number 3 shows no dots in the first part. So you should have 0 on that first line. The second part shows 4 dots. That means you should have the number 4 on the next line in your addition sentence. Now it says 0 plus 4. 0 plus 4 equals 4. Check and make sure that you have this correct. Now let's look at number 4. The first part of our picture has 6 dots. The next part of our picture has no dots. So you should have 0 on the next line of your addition sentence. Now it says 6 plus 0 equals 6. The 0 does not change the sum, even if it's the second number, like this, or if it's the first number, like this. For this page, page 31, it says at the top, on your own. The directions say, draw circles to show the number. Write the sum. Number 5 shows us the addition sentence, 2 plus 0. Right above the number 2, we have 2 circles. Go ahead and trace those 2 circles, which stand for 2. It says 2 plus 0. Notice there are no circles above 0 because 0 means there's nothing. 2 plus 0 equals 2. You are going to continue doing the same routine on the rest of the page. Once you are finished, you're going to take a picture and then turn it in here on Seesaw.
Thanks for joining me today, first graders. You guys did an awesome job. We learned about the additive identity property. That means that any number added to 0 or 0 added to any number means that the sum is the same number. Don't forget to turn in your picture on Seesaw. And with that, I'll see you all later. Bye.